Hello, beautiful dragon people. I've got my moonberry juice. I've got my copy of The Art of the Dragon Prince. I got the roaring fire going, so you guys know what that means. We're going to look some more into The Art of the Dragon Prince. Page 30. So here we get to see the wonderful art of Callum as he's doing the Battle of the Dragon versus the Marshmallow Monster, where he's like, "Take that, Marshmallow Monster!" There we go, that was my Callum impression. I hope you guys are all impressed. And then down here, I think this is supposed to be his room, although I'm a little concerned why he has a bottle of what I presume to be some form of alcoholic beverage by his nightstand. This might also be Harrow's room, or Viren's room. I really don't know. Comment if you guys recognize this room. Like, let me know. Page 31, we get to see some different alternate versions of the mirror, which is really fascinating, and I never really thought too much about the look of the mirror, but it looks good. Then we get to see a little bit of an aerial shot of the city of 𝒂𝒊𝒏 with the wide landscape leading all the way across to what I presume to be the other side of the breach. Now we get a little look of this runway, which is actually the same little place in the castle where we see Callum running from Rayla. Page 32. Primal Stones. Primal Stone is a magical artifact that gives a mage access to primal magic anywhere at any time. Callum's Primal Stone allows him to cast sky magic, even as a human, and we get to see some different variations of it. I really like the look of it in the show, where it kind of looks like a bit more of what you would expect a storm inside a glass little ball to look like, but I also kind of dig this one here where you can actually make out different clouds. It's really cool looking. The two-headed soul-fang serpent, a rare creature and a key part of Viren's plan to save Harrow and the black sands of the midnight desert. I love the way Viren says that. So apparently the sheep girl painting was initially just a silly placeholder in the storyboards, but became a permanent part of the show when they decided to do it during the production. So that's really great. This is the painting that Ezrin is behind that leads into Viren's secret chamber. Then here we get to see the seal of 𝒂𝒊𝒏, which is actually the same seal that is on the back of the book. Then we get some cool artwork of the lush forests of Zadia, and then we get to come over and take a look at the other elves. Now, I should know every one of these elves' names. I know a lot of you guys know all their names, but I don't actually have them memorized, but I know they all have names. I know it was on Twitter or the website or something. The assassins could not be designed as faceless nobodies, but it had to hurt when Rayla lost them. Each assassin was created with a unique weapon to show Moonshadow elf craftsmanship and battle skill, which is pretty neat. There's my boy right there. I always just called him Whetstone because of he has like my favorite line from season 1, which is just him going Whetstone. We get to see Rayla climbing this mountainside here and running across the river. Page 36. Armored Harrow. Though Harrow is a thoughtful ruler and a warm father, he becomes an imposing warrior king when he dons his battle armor. It is really cool. I actually really like his different designs. Early armor designs try to find a balance between regularity... Oh, no. Wear this armor if you're looking to be regular. If you're having a trouble being regular, wear armor. I don't even know what regality and function. The crown's design, too, was later simplified. Yeah, I really like the crown. It's really unique. Moonshadow form. Moonshadow elf assassins have the power to become nearly invisible under the light of a full moon. Under the moonlight, a trained assassin can infiltrate any defenses and eliminate their target with perfect stealth. If not for Rayla's mistake, which gave 𝒂𝒊𝒏 time to prepare for the assassin's attack, King Harrow might have died before anyone realized he was in any danger. Page 37, we get some really cool like little storyboards where we see Claudia preparing her wolf spell, which I do not know what it's called. So in the first case of dark magic's terrifying potential, Claudia summons magic wolves with phoenix blood candle and wolf's ashes. Okay, so she actually used wolf components to create wolves. That makes a lot of sense, because a lot of time they kind of steal the ability of the creature. Like when they're firing that big arrow at the dragon in season 2, she uses a griffin's eye. So it must have like really good sight or something. You know, this is really cool. See, this is one of the things I really love about the Dragon Prince, is that the co-creators and just the writers, they put so much thought into everything that they do. Like, I really respect all of their time and effort into putting this kind of detail into a show. I really love it. Then we get to see some different alternate variants of Zim's egg, and I really like them all, but I feel like the one that they actually ended up going with reflects more of the Storm Dragon kind of energy than the other variants. Then we get to take a look at Viren's dungeon, and it's filled with all kinds of spooky things. You can see like the skull of what I presume to be a earth blood elf. That's what that looks like to me, with the side horns coming up like that. And we get to see different versions of his spooky dungeon. He has what kind of looks like a xenomorph in here, right next to a hammerhead shark. So in this universe, are hammerhead sharks supposed to be magical creatures? Because if so, like, what can they do? And will we ever see them fight a magical hammerhead shark? This is the real questions right here. This is what I need answered. Then on page 39, we get to see some more variants of the hallway with little Ez kind of looking around. And then this right here, this is the king's bedroom, isn't it? I'm 99% sure this is Harrow's bedroom. Although I don't think this is the same placement as it was shown in the show. Page 40. We get to take a look at the very lovely artwork for Viren and Harrow standing together. And I like the one that they ended up going with because it was a lot warmer than what these other black and white ones looked like. They looked nice, but maybe a little too regal. And this is supposed to be more of a personal kind of portrait, even though it was an official portrait. We get to take a look at the standard issue crossbows used by the Knights of Catullus. We get to take a look at some of the other alternate artwork found inside the castle, and the different spears and axes and swords used by the mini guards, none of which were good enough to stop Rayla. Page 42, we get to see Brunon's Shadowhawk, the grim messenger that returns to Xadia once the assassin's missions are complete. You know, I like this one right here because it looks exactly like Pip. It's just like a color swapped Pip. That would have been kind of weird, though, for that to be the case. So I'm glad the design that they went with was different. Then we get to see the different Smoke Wolf concepts, which I like. I really like the one that they went with, because some of these look almost downright cute, and I do not think that was the feeling they were trying to go for. I think like the more ethereal kind of smoky look of them made them seem a lot scarier and a lot more like a perversion of nature, which I think is what they're trying to get across with the dark magic in that scene. Then on page 23, we get to see some more of the cool like Shadowhawk transformation, which is really interesting. Like, wow, like the artistry and the craftsmanship that went into designing this arrow is so incredible. Like, this art book really does give me like an even deeper appreciation for all the work that the many talented artists put in for the show. Like, here we go. Like, yeah, this is the version of the Shadow Wolves. Like, this is, now they're getting it. Definitely spooky and scary Shadow Wolves, which is the best. Page 44, Amaya. One of the highest ranking generals in the army of Catullus, Amaya is both an immovable object and an unstoppable force. Her battalion could never put their trust in any other leader, for her iron will and ferocity in battle are unmatched. Amaya has harbored a burning hatred for Xadia ever since her sister, Queen Sarai, was killed by the Dragon Queen. Oh, you know what? I've never even thought about that, but yeah, like, I guess that would make you kind of a good origin story. So I guess she hates the elves because they work for the Dragon Queen. Although that makes me wonder, so what is her beef with Moon Shadow Elves specifically, which she says the worst kind? Like, is there an origin story behind that, or is that just a belief that she holds based on her own experience that we will never get to see? We get some alternate hair for her, and honestly, I don't really dig any of these. I think that the hair that they went with is definitely the best. Down here, we get to see some really pretty alternate costumes for her, which are pretty neat. I really like this like light armor version of her too. It would be pretty cool for her to be a little lighter on her feet. Spotlight. Amaya's sign language. General Amaya is a tough, inspiring leader and a protective, loving aunt. She's also deaf, and bringing the way she communicates with the world into an animated series proved to be a unique challenge. We began with research, diving into resources provided by deaf and hard of hearing organizations and community groups, and consulting with several experts. In order to help the directors present the speaker-interpreter relationship, we looked into depictions of deaf characters in live-action shows. We had to be sure to establish the dynamic between Amaya and Grin without ever sacrificing the focus on Amaya herself. Next, we worked with professional interpreters to translate Amaya's lines into American Sign Language, including the creation of signs for character names and in-world concepts like Moon Shadow Elves. With this translation, we'd film the interpreter signing each line from multiple angles. The animatic editors would overlay the video footage onto the storyboards for timing, while the animators would reference the footage for accuracy. As work progressed, we would show early versions of scenes to ASL speakers to provide feedback and help fine-tune. When the series was released, Amaya quickly became a fan-favorite character, but there was definitely room to improve. We heard that the animation style could make some of Amaya's motions hard to read, and that her dark gloves often made signs difficult to make out against the background, or her armor. We continued to refine the process for subsequent seasons, smoothing out the animation and switching her gloves for We continued to refine the process for subsequent seasons, smoothing out the animation and switching her gloves out for a more parlor tan color. And through it all, we never, ever skipped breakfast. It is the most important meal of the day, after all. Okay, so maybe now is a good time to talk about this. Okay, my opinion on the animation of Season 1. Hot take, I didn't like it. In fact, I was so put off by the animation when I watched the first season that it almost ruined the show for me. It didn't help that I was watching it on on not the best television that had a really weird effect. So like the low frame rate of the animation combined with the television that I was watching it on definitely made it look a lot worse. And I was not a fan. And I was very happy that they upped the frame rate and smoothed things out in the subsequent seasons. Alrighty, well that's all the time we have for today. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please remember to like and subscribe. I would love to see this community grow. It seems like it is growing, so I'm pretty happy with all of that. Leave a comment down below. Tell me, what room was that? Was that Callum's room? I know one of you guys knows the answer for that. So as always, I'm off to rewatch The Dragon Prince.